think that leftists are just pissed for no good reason. Like they go, oh, Musk is collecting all these people's information. It's like unelected officials at the DMV are collecting my information. The unelected officials at the Social Security office are collecting my information. Like so many government offices collect my information by people who I definitely didn't elect, and neither did Destiny. They're totally fine with that. But for some reason with these guys, no, that's too much.
That's a good point.
I mean, the reason... Well, no.
In this video, Destiny and Andrew Wilson face off in a heated debate on Piers Morgan Uncensored. Destiny and Andrew Wilson debate the legality of Doge and Elon Musk's role in auditing our government. With that, let's watch Destiny try to change the subject as Andrew Wilson crushes his non-argument.
Turn to the Trump-Elon Oval Office press set. We've got a sort of this.
Some of the things that I say will be incorrect and should be corrected. So nobody's going to bat 1,000. I mean, we will make mistakes, but we'll act quickly to correct any mistakes. I'm not sure we should be sending $50 million worth of condoms to anywhere, frankly. I'm not sure that's something Americans would be really excited about. And that is really an enormous number of condoms, if you think about it.
Destiny, what did you make of that? Obviously, it's very unusual. You've got the richest man in America standing next to the President of the United States in the Oval Office by the Resolute desk. He's got his kid with him who's picking his nose. It's all a bit random and weird and surreal. However, I did watch it all, and I kept thinking to myself, if I was an average American watching this, hearing what Elon Musk is doing to federal overspending, I'd be cheering him on. I'd be all in favor of this.
Yeah, unfortunately, the average American, I guess, or the average person has no idea how government works or functions. And I guess weird and surreal is just the way to describe now, or illegal, I guess, is the way to describe that this administration has decided to address programs that they don't like. If you want to cut down on waste, fraud, and abuse, I don't think anybody would necessarily have a problem with it, but they keep saying waste, fraud, and abuse when what they mean is programs that I don't like. And they've already taken several almost certainly illegal actions in trying to basically unilaterally dismantle organizations like USAID that have been independently authorized by Congress that the president doesn't have the ability to do, to dismantle unilaterally. And now you've seen TROs coming out from the judiciary that's telling him, hey, you have to stop. There was the one on the federal spending freeze that not only was a TRO issued telling him that you have to stop freezing these funds. Now another judge has said you are violating the TRO. You need to stop this immediately. So I guess if you don't care about the legality or the process and procedure or anything having to do with the structure of government, I guess it's a cool thing. But if you care about like following the law or the rules or maintaining your government, then it would probably be a horrific thing. But
Andrew?
Yeah, you got this idea. I've heard Destiny kind of talk about this before when he's saying, okay, these are illegal actions and possibly the court's not going to be able to catch up with these illegal actions. And so Trump is just going to basically continue with what he's considering to be illegal actions. Thing is like people forget about things like jury nullification or like the idea that you can have laws. And even if you're the enforcer of the laws, in this case, the executive branch, you don't actually have to enforce these things. There's no, like you're put there for a reason, just like a jury can nullify a law by saying, even though the law says you're guilty, I can still come back with a not guilty verdict. What's happening here is,
if you like watching videos like this one, like and subscribe. We'd really appreciate it. Let's get back to the video.
We don't even know what the waste, fraud, and abuse is. And so there's an audit going on, and this is exactly what Musk is doing. They're trying to audit this and get it in front of the attention of the American people to say, look, we don't want condoms for the Taliban. That was 15 million. Promotion of atheism in Nepal for 500,000. French LGBTQ programs in West and Central Africa for $1 million, right? I mean, the list goes on and on and on. $200 million 20 days in. I think that the American people do deserve to know that. And I don't think that they would, that this would be front and center or a thing we would be focusing on absent this audit. And I think that more of these government agencies should be audited. Now, Destiny can he can say, well, technically, due to the rule of law, we have judges who are making these impositions and this and that. It's like, yeah, that's fine. But that's all part of the process, too. It's all part of the process of law. The process of law is playing out exactly like it should. Judges are supposed to create injunctions if something illegal is going on, et cetera, et cetera. There's nothing wrong, though, with auditing these places. And for the spirit of transparency, I think that leftists are just pissed for no good reason. Like they go, oh, Musk is collecting all these people's information. It's like unelected officials at the DMV are collecting my information. The unelected officials at the Social Security office are collecting my information. Like, so many government offices collect my information by people who I definitely didn't elect, and neither did Destiny. They're totally fine with that. But for some reason with these guys, no, that's too much.
That's a good
That's
point.
I mean, the reason, well,
That's
no,
a
it's
good
not a
point,
good point. The
Destiny,
reason
isn't it?
why is because these things have been authorized by law. There's a process and procedure there. The Social Security Administration was created by Congress. There is a process and procedure by which they collect data, and they have a process and procedure by which they store data and who's allowed to access it. Elon Musk is definitionally an unelected bureaucrat who is now part of a shadow government who is going from agency to agency, cutting whatever he decides is necessary. In terms of there being transparency, all
He
of this
hasn't cut
stuff was
anything. What did
already
they cut?
publicly available. They've literally shuttered the USAID offices. What do you mean? They've literally
Shuttered
frozen
them
payments
how?
from the Treasury.
Yeah,
Shuttered them
yes,
and they
that-
shuttered them and they tried to give a
and-
mass recall saying all the employees needed to come home, which was stopped by a TRO, by a judge. And now a lot of these programs, there was just recently a report by the head of the Treasury guy who now is fired, who was saying that there's a whole bunch of food and stuff that we've shipped to other countries. It's just going to spoil because now we've cut off funding and money for it. All of these things have just been unilaterally cut by Elon Musk and Trump without any authorization from Congress, despite the fact that Congress was the one that authorized the funds for these programs and authorized these offices and agencies. If you want to remove all of these things, that's fine. If you don't want $500,000 being spent for trans ballets in Nepal for atheists or whatever, that's fine. If you don't want it, then Congress has to defund it. That's the way that this process.
I don't know if you caught at the beginning there, but Destiny, when he was first asked the question, was like, well, apparently the average American doesn't know how government works. He really always thinks he is the smartest person in the room and better than everyone else. He really views pretty much everyone else as complete idiots. As a matter of fact, I don't think Destiny even knows why he's arguing this side other than to be a contrarian. Andrew said the left is pissed for no reason. I absolutely agree. They're only pissed because it's Donald Trump and Elon Musk doing this. I mean, who could argue against exposing waste, fraud, and abuse in our government, making our government more efficient? As a matter of fact, if you're watching this and you disagree with what Elon Musk and Donald Trump are doing as far as government efficiency, please let us know in the comments what you're upset about. I don't understand how exposing all of the waste that is going on with the taxpayers' money is a bad thing. And it's so funny how all of the left's talking points truly are parroted by the talking heads on MSNBC, CNN, Destiny, David Pakman. It's funny how all these little phrases that we never ever hear suddenly pop up in every other sentence with these people. Shadow government is the one I'm noticing now. Shadow government, and I'm not a linguistics expert, but my layperson's understanding of what that means is one that's kind of in the shadows, doing whatever they want to do, manipulating things. This is the most transparent presidency I've ever seen in my lifetime. And it's not even close. Everything that Elon Musk's group is cutting, you can see it on X. There's even a website you can go to that lists every single thing. It is as transparent as I've ever seen the government. And it's quickly transparent, if that's a thing. It's quickly transparent, meaning they put it up right away, that they're not hiding anything from you. It's the opposite. They're trying to show you the things that have been hidden from the American people. Anybody who's arguing this either just flat out hates the country, is, like I assume Destiny is, just being a contrarian because the right wing is doing it, or you're culpable somehow in the waste, fraud, and abuse, and you don't want it to be exposed. Anyway, let's get back to the video.
This works. It's not up to the president unilaterally to decide what he likes or doesn't like. That's already been
actually,
passed
hang on.
by the Congress.
Well, hang on.
It's not up to you.
That's actually, I was going to say, look, that's not actually correct. He's entitled to do this, and then there
he's
can be legal.
absolutely not.
Well, hang on. Then there can be legal challenges, and Trump made it clear in the Oval Office yesterday he would accept what a judge said. Now, by contrast, I remember Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez when it came to the Texas ruling in a court by a judge about abortion medication, for example. She said that the Democrats should not accept what that judge had ruled. Right. So why is it one rule? Why is it one rule for Democrats that they can ignore a judge's order with impunity? But when President Trump says, if you want to challenge this, no problem, I will accept the ruling of the judge. Isn't that democracy?
What years was AOC the president of the United States?
What difference does that make?
What does that have to do with anything?
Because she's not in the position to do these things. She can give the advice on it. If you wanted me to ask myself, like,
she's an elected lawmaker who doesn't want to obey the law.
A lawmaker. She's in a different branch of government. She's part of the legislature. We're not talking about the legislature. We're not talking about a random lawmaker right now. We're talking about the president of the United States doing things to intentionally contravene. You can't just say you could break the law.
President Biden did the same over student loans.
No, he absolutely didn't. When the Supreme Court shut him down in one thing, then he took a different avenue. It was not the same. President Biden did not ignore temporary restraining orders. It wasn't issuing TROs to stop what he was doing with the loan forgiveness. It's a totally different thing. To say that this is not the same. It's not the same process.
Hang on, Destiny. I just let you
Vance
go.
and
Let
other
me
people have
respond.
said over and over. I'm still responding to Piers. Vance and others have.
Andrew and Piers are right. This is completely within Trump and his administration's purview. They can take executive action on most things, and as they always do, because the left will disagree with them no matter what, they will be challenged in court. And Donald Trump has said, if anything we're doing is illegal, I'll abide by the ruling of the courts. This is just more evidence that Destiny's argument is really non-existent. He's not making any good points. To back that up even further, when he said that stupid line about when was AOC president, that is 100% to deflect and change the topic. Because right after that, then they start arguing, is that point relevant or not? Which of course it's not, but it kills time for him in this debate. Anyway, let's wrap up the video.
Made it clear over and over again. They've quoted the Andrew Jackson quote, and they've said, well, we should just resist the judiciary. It is not part of law and order. It's not part of checks and balances for the executive to say, well, I don't care what a judge says. We'll just do whatever, which is what they're currently doing. And a judge has already said they've done with the TRO that was placed on them, having to do with freezing federal funding. So they've already broken with what the judges are telling them to some extent. And at the end of the day, there's no way to check and balance the executive if they're just going to do what they want to do. You have no checks and balances there. What are men in robes and lawmakers going to walk down and fight with the U.S. Marshals and the FBI? Like, it's not going to happen.
Andrew?
Yeah, right. Exactly. So this is an issue. What you have is an issue of authority. So Trump he's trying to expand the limits of his office as fast as possible. And I understand why. Last time he was there, they were trying to impeach him from basically day one, made up this phony Russian collusion nonsense. He comes in now, he has nothing to lose. He's going to expand his office as quickly as possible, try to move things as quickly as he possibly can. And most importantly, he doesn't trust the judicial branch. That's what he said himself in his various speeches. I don't trust them to give fair rulings. I don't trust that they're actually there in respect to actual law. He doesn't actually even believe that. So what he's doing is he's expanding as quickly. Hang on, my turn. So he's expanding it as quickly as he possibly can. But he did say that he would abide by the rulings of these judges. He just recently said this, and we don't know what.
This is like debate amateur hour for Destiny here. I want to point out two things that I almost guarantee nobody noticed, but I wrote them down because they're just so ridiculous. He's acting so knowledgeable and telling us all the reason that Donald Trump is a monster and a shadow government. Earlier on, he said that Trump's administration is doing something almost certainly illegal. So is it almost illegal? Is it certainly illegal? Do you see what I mean? He's not sure even if Trump has done anything illegal, which I personally don't believe he has. Then when he's talking about the TROs, he says Trump has broken with what the judges have said to some extent. Well, what? Be specific. I guarantee he doesn't have specifics because I'm only aware of two temporary restraining orders. The one against the federal funding freeze, which is kind of moot because after the Trump administration sent that memo out, they rescinded it immediately because everyone was up in arms because they felt it didn't clarify exactly what funds were affected. And of course, the Democrats all wanted their free money. And then the temporary restraining order about the employees at the USET office. So Destiny said, broken with what judges have said to some extent and almost certainly illegal, but didn't give one example on how he's broken the temporary restraining orders that he mentioned 15 times in there. So Donald Trump said he'd abide with the judge's rulings, and to the best of my knowledge, he has. Again, I do not understand why anyone that's debating honestly would have a problem with what they're doing. The United States government is getting a free audit from the richest man in the world. If you were a company, would you turn that down? Make your company more efficient? That's crazy. The bulk of the people that don't want this are the ones that are worried that the gravy train is over. But we want to hear from you. What do you all think about Elon Musk Donald Trump, the Department of Government Efficiency, and everything that they're doing, the auditing of the government. And what do you think about Andrew Wilson and Destiny's debate here? Let us know. Anyway, as always, really appreciate you watching, and we will see you on the next one.